News just in, Maharashtra's Home Minister has defended the suspension of ASI of the Maharashtra Police, Sachin Suryavanshi. He says his language was unbecoming of a police officer. Of course, R.R. Patil has nothing to say about the conduct of those MLAs, political expediency and cowardice at its best in Mumbai, with the Home Minister of Maharashtra defending the suspension of Assistant Sub-Inspector Sachin Suryavanshi for an incident last week where he was thrashed by MLAs for handing them a speeding ticket. R.R. Patil, the Home Minister, has completely justified the suspension of the policeman, saying that his conduct was unbecoming of a police officer. Let's get in Kamlesh Sutar back on the phone line with us from Mumbai. Kamlesh, this was only expected while the VVIPs are being protected and the police officer involved is being sent through the process. R.R. Patil comes out to justify this controversial decision.
Well, certainly, for last 2 or 3 days, there was a deadlock kind of situation in the Maharashtra assemblies. The suspension of MLAs was okay, but after the MLAs were arrested and sent to judicial custody, after a day's police custody, there was anger that we sensed inside the Maharashtra Legislative Assembly when the MLAs crossing all party lines came together to protest against the action suspension, and also about API Sachin Suryavanshi getting a lighter punishment because the MLAs said that API Sachin Suryavanshi had been let off lightly. No action has been taken against him, and most of these MLAs said that the kind of language that was used by API Sachin Suryavanshi wasn't worthy, and that is what R.R. Patil repeated. R.R. Patil was in a situation where he had to speak for his police force as well, but as also to take into consideration the feeling of the house, the anger that was prevailing in the house. So the action, as you said, Shiv, was somewhere on the expected lines. API Sachin Suryavanshi bearing the brunt after being beaten up by MLAs and after facing the wrath of the MLAs here inside the assembly. He today also faces suspension till the inquiry is pending.
And where is the inquiry right now, Kamlesh? Because remember, a lot of people are going to ask this question. How come everybody is so lenient with the MLAs, yet the police officer gets, gets the short end of the stick as far as due process is concerned? What about the MLAs? What's happening with them?
The crime branch is already inquiring the matter. MLAs have spent almost 3 to 4 days behind bars in last few days. API Sachin Suryavansh's inquiry is now in the primary stages. It would also be...
Kamlesh, just stay with me for a moment. Just stay with me for a moment. I want to bring in some prominent voices to get them to react to this story that we're breaking here on Headlines today. Anil Dharkar, senior journalist and writer, is with me on the phone line. Mr. Dharkar, the police officer who stopped those MLAs speeding and who was beaten up, he's been suspended. What do you think?
Well, I've just been informed of this and I can't believe it. I really am astonished. I'm actually, for the first time of my life, almost speechless because this is so ridiculous. What signal does it send to everybody? What signal does it send to policemen, anyone trying to hold up authority, that, as long as there's a politician there, you dare not do anything about his lawlessness? It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, that really is the message that goes out here. As long as you're a politician, you can do whatever you like. Anil Dharkar, thanks for speaking to Headlines today. It's a tone of astonishment that's being struck online as well. Already on Twitter, there are people expressing outrage over ASI Sachin Suryavanshi's suspension in this entire matter. Mumbaikars are bound to be furious with this deeply, deeply ironic decision where a police officer doing his job, telling it like it is and calling a spade, not discriminating between common citizens and VVIP politicians, is getting the shaft for simply doing his duty, being an honest officer on the job, not discriminating. Mumbaikars are going to be extremely angry with the shoddy handling of a police officer who's been suspended. Why are they suspending him? Because he could possibly prejudice the probe, or is it simply to show him who's boss? Who takes the decisions, who pays his salary within the Maharashtra administration? We're going to try and get in some political reactions to all of this, because meanwhile, the Maharashtra Home Minister R.R. Patil has defended the decision, saying that the language used by ASI Suryavanshi was unbecoming of a police officer. Of course, R.R. Patil doesn't have anything whatsoever to say about the conduct of those two rowdy MLAs who are currently breathing free air, unfortunately. I want to bring in former IPS officer YP Singh to get a reaction from him on this. Mr. Singh, ASI Suryavanshi has been suspended. What's on your mind?
I think he is a very wrong person to be suspended in the police. The right person who should have been placed under suspension was the Director General of Police, the head of the Maharashtra Police Force, who is behaving like an obedient poodle at the hands of the politicians. He has relinquished all his authority. He has swerved away from the law of the land which he is supposed to implement. He was the one who was required to have registered the FIR at once. Within half an hour, 1 hour, should have seized all the CCTV tapes, identified all the accused people, put them behind bars within 2 or 3 hours. Yet he played on with his vacillating games. And when the chief of the police behaves this way, I think it is the height of travesty where such a subordinate entity like Suryavanshi, a person who was doing his duty, he faces such a suspension. I think it's terrible, and now the time has come where logic has to prevail, and the chief of police should be placed under suspension for his dereliction of duties, and not that of Suryavanshi, who was following the law in his quest to implement the law.
YP Singh, thanks for getting us what you think about this entire case. We're going to keep a very close track of it.